So in the last lesson, I taught you basically the operators in Python, but the two types of operators that I want you to remember right now are the comparison operators and the logical operators, right? So the comparison, you can basically compare two pieces of data, and see if they are equals than, different than, greater than, less than, greater or equals to, less or equals to. All of these comparisons are going to return true or false, right? Pretty basic. The logical operators, you can do pretty the same thing, but with multiple comparisons. So you can compare one situation, then you can compare another, and if both are true, you get the return true. If one of them are not true, you get the return false. If you use the AND logical operator, and if you use the OR logical operator, if one of the comparisons that you are performing are false, no problem. If only one is true, the final return is going to be true, all right? If you don't remember these rules, I recommend you to take a look again in the last lesson, because today we are going to see the conditions in Python. And basically the conditions are what do you do based on the return of a comparison, right? If you compare something, it is going to return if it's true or false. And based on this result, what do you do? We use conditions to perform things based on these comparisons. So it's essential for you to remember how the comparison operators and the logical operators work, okay? Let's create our new file here. Let's call them conditions.py. Let's call it conditions.py, and let's put here the three types of conditional statements that we are going to use. The first one is if, the second one is the elif, and the third is the else. Okay, so let's start with the if statement. So the name says everything, right? If something is true, you can do something. Pretty intuitive, okay? So let's see an example here. Name Felipe. Let's expand this a little bit. Okay, name Felipe. Age 30. Driver's license. I guess that's how you write it. True. Felipe has. Let's put has driver's license. Why did I type my age as a string? I don't know. Let's correct this. Okay, so we have a string, an integer, a boolean. Let's use here surname. Let's use surname to play with this, all right? So these are the data that we're going to use in these comparisons. Let's check if Felipe is of legal age, right? Here in Brazil, the legal age is 18. So age greater equals than 18. When you do this, you're basically comparing. And as you know how this works, you probably noticed that this is going to return true, right? Because the age is here, 30. We are comparing this data with this data, if this is greater or equals than 18, and it is, right? So this is going to return true, all right? But what if I wanted to do something based on that? I would use the statement if. So if this condition is true, I can put colon here and hit enter. All right. When I hit enter, you're gonna see that my cursor is not here in the beginning of the line. When I hit enter, it automatically goes to, like, not exactly in the middle of the line, but it goes a little bit to the right? This is indentation. In Python, when you want to write something inside another code, you use the indentation. So you saw that visual code, when I hit enter, it automatically puts this space here for me. This is basically the same thing that I press the tab key in my keyboard, right? If I press tab, it jumps a little bit to the right, okay? So what can I do here? I can print, for example, name is can drive, right? Because this person because this person's age is greater or equals than 18, right? So if this condition is true, do what's inside of this block. What's inside of this block? I'm just printing name can drive, right? So let's run the file conditions and we can see that Felipe can drive. Let's clean my terminal here again. Felipe can drive. Okay, so basically this is what happens when you use the if statement. You compare something and you print, and you do anything you want to do inside of this block. But remember, this is only going to work if the condition is true, okay? If I change my age here, for example, to 15, this is not going to return true anymore. So this is not going to happen, all right? Let's test. See, nothing happens because this is not true. So this part of the code is only going to be executed if this condition is true, okay? That's how it works. Remember that. Now you are starting to work with code that does not run specifically in the line by line order. When you put something like this in your code, this code is not going to run if this condition is not true, right? So from now on, you have more control of what to do, because now you know how to compare and evaluate if the result is true to do something based on that, okay? That's how the if statement works. These are some of the real interviews that I recorded to show you how real companies interview developers from inside. Use them to prepare for real interviews and get the job of your dreams. Go to marosacademy.com or click the link below.